Jeremy Payne is the onstage stand brand director for the and national accounts manager for the music people. Jeremy got his start in the music industry and the pro audio industry as a teenager in a small chain of retail stores in upstate New York. After working his way through various roles, including teaching, sales, purchasing, and eventually general managing of the business, he left to join the music people in 2010. At TMP, Jeremy has taken on multiple responsibilities ranging from sales, marketing, and management. Outside of TMP, Jeremy is also serving as the secretary of the NAMM Young Professionals Board of Directors and a gigging musician. So we're talking to someone on the board at NAMM. That's a pretty cool position to have. I didn't know that, Jeremy, till I read your bio. So we're grateful to have you with us. Thanks you for joining us tonight. I'm assuming you're on the phone. Are you there, Jeremy?
I am here.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming to talk about all things on stage stand. So how long has when did on stage stand start? When did you go in? How long has the business been around?
Well, first off, thanks for having us on. I mean, this is super cool. We love doing stuff like this. And I got to watch a few episodes of the show. I was not aware of what a huge little show you have there. Huge little show. That's oxymoron. But
that's jumbo shrimp. There you go.
So Onstage has been around since 1979.
I think what you may have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what you may have noticed is on the other episodes, we've been a lot more serious than this. Tonight, it's out of control. Everything is funny. I don't know what the deal is. So
we're going to get along. We're going to have fun on this part.
Okay. So when did it start?
1979.
Okay.
And, by a fellow named Jim Hennessy. And Jim was working for KMC. He was actually a sheet metal worker I don't know if you know about KMC. We know them as a musical instruments distributor, but they're actually in the aerospace market. Is kind of like the bigger industry that they're a part of. And Charlie Kaman started a musical instruments division from his passion for music. Noticed Jim's talents, the sheet metal worker, brought him over to the music side of things. He did artist relations, during like the 60s and 70s, during that time period. So
it was kind of aviation that developed the backing for the Ovation guitar, right? From Kaman, wasn't that? That was like all aeronautic space stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Jim worked on the Ovation side of things. So he was giving guitars away to some pretty big names back then, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Paul McCartney, and he's got this.
The Glenn Campbell TV show. Glenn Campbell was a big endorser of the Adamas. That was, everybody wanted to have one that watched that show. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how Jim got his start. And one day he kind of thought up this idea when he was out on the road at a concert. And the concept of a double or triple guitar stand hadn't been thought of at that point. So he said, I could make a stand that could hold 2 or 3 of these things and clean the stage up, which seems kind of, something we take for granted these days. But Jim invented the double and triple guitar stands, and that's kind of what he started on stage as a company on. And it's, now we cover pretty much every category in the market, from guitar to pro audio, keyboard, percussion, band and orchestra, you name it.
Cool. Well, I tell you what, we've already started getting some questions online, so why don't we just take a couple of those? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, heavy.
Let's see. Jeremy, we have common setups where we stack 2 QSC KLA-12s on stands. I've tried several different speaker stands over the years to try to get a solid and comfortable configuration with these speakers. With 2 speakers, it clocks in at about 115 pounds. Do you have an on-stage stand recommendation for a heavy load such as this?
Yeah, so I guess I'll answer that 2 ways. The answer to both is yes, but as for a tripod, pretty much any of our models will hold at least 120 pounds. So you can go with like an all-steel model, which would be the SS7725, or if you want to, take it easy on your back, you can get some all aluminum stands like the SS7761. So those are 2 tripod options. If you want something that's really heavy duty in a tripod, you can go with, we kind of call it a lighting stand and speaker stand combo. It would be the LSSS, so lighting stand, speaker stand, 7770, and that'll actually go up to 10 feet because it has two height clutch points.
Now, what was that model number again, Jeremy? An LS?
SS7770.
SS7770. Okay.
Yep.
We're gonna pull an image of that online here real quick, just so we can show that. So and that stand goes to 10 feet. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's got two height clutch points on it and really, really long legs with heavy duty leg housing. So you can really get that base spread quite wide on that. And if you're putting, two modules together like that, that'd be a great option.
And that stand holds 150 pounds.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Now, that stand properly assembled, how should those braces at the bottom, how should they be when that stand is properly erected? Should they be straight?
Like the cross bracing between the leg housing and
yes,
the
for the most stability. Isn't that the way you're supposed to set that? I'm not saying anything about this picture being wrong, but I see a lot of people that use tripod stands. If they've got a little bit of room in the corner, they'll make the stand as narrow as possible, so it's got like a 6-inch footprint, and it's no wider than a round base mic stand, and that's not the way to properly use a speaker stand. Is that not correct?
I mean, that's pretty normal for any tripod design, whether it's a speaker stand or a camera stand, right?
Right, exactly.
You want to get that spread as wide as you can without the bracing turning inside out, if you will.
Exactly.
So I think that's what you mean, right? Like that, the bracing becomes a straight line as opposed to having some angle on it.
That's a concept that I see. That's one thing I probably see the biggest mistake that people make. They try to make tripod stands as like space saving measures, and they'll cram them into corners, and they're just really top heavy and very unstable that way, and can fall over. So
and it's a best practice thing, like you said. But nonetheless, we do rate our stands. In a not ideal condition, right? So the average person, if they listen to Tech Talk, they'd know that. But if not, we do rate stuff. We're pretty conservative with the numbers. So you can't hold us to it because I just said you can't. But if we say 120, it's usually quite a bit more than that.
Are you saying every speaker stand made by Onstage is rated for 120?
150.
Well, 120 is pretty standard for most of like the single height or the single height clutch tripod. So SS7761, 7725, I believe 7730 goes up to 140 or 160. But that bigger one is quite a bit more. I'll have to take, if you guys have it up on the web, I'll take your word for it. I'm going from memory here.
We just had it up there for a second. So, was it 120 or 150?
That one's got to be more. I think it's 140.
I'm looking at the 7730B now.
Well, that would be for black. Yeah.
Yeah. 160 is what this one's saying.
160.
Yeah.
Steel and aluminum construction.
Yeah, that's just the combination of the two metals. It kind of makes it live in between, steel and aluminum, lightweight versus heavy duty, and just the way it's constructed and the length of the legs and the size of the leg housing makes that one a little bit more than the other two models I mentioned. But, man, as far as stability goes, even though the weight capacity might be a little bit less, that 7770, that's the one if you really want to get a big base spread, as you were pointing out, that'd be great.
Cool. We have another question online. Hi, Jeremy. You guys now have the USB rechargeable music stand light. How long does it hold a charge? And how long is the charging time?
Yeah, so we have two models. So it depends on which model that you're looking at. But there's the LED 2214, which is a single gooseneck, and then the LED 2224, which is the dual gooseneck. That's probably going to be the more popular one, so I'll go to that. You've got 4 LEDs in each one of those lamps, and it's white and red. So you get in one lamp, you kind of get both options. Red's a little easier on the eyes. But the charging time, I think, is about 6 hours if it's completely dead, and you get a 15-hour battery life
Wow.
with full bang continuous use on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really great product. We came out with it last summer, NAMM, so it's just turning a year old in June or July, and we won Best in Show on that. That was something we were quite proud of. I think we were the first people to market with something like that. And,
can we trade in battery ones? This looks kind of cool.
Yeah. We have a large inventory of battery operated stand lights that are just a pain to constantly keep batteries in. So that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, just a little USB charges it up.
Yep, that's cool. I'm gonna have to get on Corvo for not telling me about that product. So you can pass that along to him when you see him tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'll get on him first thing tomorrow morning. I love picking on Corvo.
Yeah, there you go. So let's see. So back to the heavier stand option. The person that chimed in said that he likes the heavier stand option, but the flex of the mass has been his concern. So with that kind of weight that he had on that speaker, which what did he say before was
115?
Was 115? Is he going to have a flex issue?
No, on that, especially on that 7770, because it has two height clutches on it, you can kind of put one up without. You need to get your speakers high up in the air. So when you take a single pole that telescopes into a larger shaft beneath, the higher you put that, the less stable that pole is. The less strong it is. If you can have two shorter lengths as opposed to one long length, you get a little bit more stability out of that. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, and the height clutch, where those two clutches meet, we actually put steel collars on that stand as opposed to plastic for some of the more kind of basic models that you would find, just for simple like plastic PA cabs or something like that. So that's a great question, and I'm glad he brought that up because the two height clutches, that's another purpose that it serves, and those metal collars give me the opportunity to talk about that. So
just by the way of product endorsement, one of our viewers, Stephen Hunter, said that he was at a Jacob Dylan concert in D.C. the other night and saw him using the USB light charging.
He's got good eyes.
Yeah.
Cool.
What? That he saw that from?
Yeah. I mean, if you're out in the audience, that's an on-stage USB light right there.
I don't know that he saw it from the audience. He probably talked to him and saw that. So, but
quit giving up crap, will you? Just let
I don't think you know me.
I saw one, but he saw it. So there you go. That's good. I don't know if it was a Jacob Dylan show or a Wallflower show. So who knows? I know that Jacob Dylan's band. You can't use any strobe lights with those guys. Remember that? Yeah. That's anyways. Another story. We're moving on. And he said he was in the front row.
Oh,
there you go. So hey.
Instead of asking for a set list, you should ask for the light.
What's the product line from Onstage Stands has definitely increased dramatically over the years. I mean, it's like you said, you started as a guitar stand manufacturer, and then I kind of came into Onstage world as you were an alternative to Atlas mic stands. You had the MS-10C, which was the standard round base stand. You kind of took the market with a round base stand that was economically priced. And but then the product line has just grown and grown and grown, and like this, you always talk about this is something I didn't know about, and we sell a lot of your gear. So just talk about the kind of growth the company's had and what direction you're going in and what products you have to offer. Just give us the spiel.
I mean, ever since the company started, the one kind of consistent thing is we want to just be a problem solver. We want to keep adding to the line to help the average musician, afford good gear, because there's a lot of really, Atlas, they make great stands, and K&M, they make great stands. They're nice heavy duty stuff that's been in the industry for a long time. It's on every rider, and, every production company probably has stacks of them. And so we wanted to fill that void in the market where, well, what does the average guy get? And there was a lot of, there's some okay options out there, but we really want to make a touring quality stand at an economic price. And so we've just added to the line, and in all categories again. But if we kind of focus maybe a little bit on pro audio, probably about 10 years ago, we really started to focus on, all right, well, let's make really heavy duty stuff that is at a significantly lower price. So we have our economy, our entry level stuff that's great for the gigging musician. But what about production companies? Like, they want to not spend $100 for a mic stand either. So can we use a lot of the buying power that we have for a lot of the big, top selling products that we have and make something high end, but at a much lower price than some of the other caps out there? So that's when we started to develop our 9000 series of mic stands. So one of the ones that you guys have there, the MS 9701, that stand is all metal. Everything, the knobs, every last bit except for the cable clips is metal. And that's something that we've made continual improvements to over the years. I mean, I think I've seen, since coming on board with the company, I think we've probably made 5 or 6 different versions of that to where we landed today. And that is an amazing stand. I mean, we put that up against stuff that's twice the price. And we usually get a lot of compliments that it's nicer than some stuff that's in that price range.
Dutch is showing it off right now. We actually have the stand
I don't know
in the
about
studio.
showing it off, though.
Well, yeah, you're demoing it. Yes, he's doing Vanna White. He almost pinched himself too, but that's another story because he was mishandling it.
And I noticed too that I was looking at some of the stuff that you guys carry, and you're used to getting like the MS 7701B, which
right.
is kind of the little brother to that stand, which is a great, for I think what is it, $25-$30
exactly
price.
Yeah,
incredible stand. There's nothing else on the market that can beat it. But this is significantly beefier. If you pick those two up side by side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we noticed it immediately when we took it out of the box.
I gave Kevin a bunch of crap. It's okay.
Yeah, this is your direct competitor to like something in the K&M line, right? That's what you're
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a really heavy duty stand. It's a nice stand.
Yeah. So we continued down that path, and then we started to develop, kick drum stands to go along with that. So there's basically a mini version of that for kick and amp. We also came out with a round bass. So you have the 3-section round bass there with a big 12-inch bass and that big baseball bat of a clutch. You mentioned Atlas. That's, a product that we looked at to go right up against. But again, try to make it a little bit more affordable, make improvements where we could. And something on the round bases that we did is, you may have noticed when you were assembling them, the bottom thread is much coarser than your typical thread that you get on a mic stand.
That was the first thing that Dutch noticed, actually.
Was the threads.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the old, or the ones we get,
Yeah, the threads are the thread. It was a lot easier to thread on and a lot more bite there. So, show the mic stand off. Just switch over to the mic stand.
The round bass.
The round bass, yeah.
Yeah, so that one is part of a larger line. Like, we have a 10-inch bass, we have a 12-inch single clutch version of that, and then this is the dual clutch. So this would be great for, miking up an orchestra or a choir, or even putting paddles up in the air, antennas or something.
Right.
You just want to get them high up there without taking up a lot of real estate. Super stable.
Yeah, we've gone to the ceiling.
We don't have a camera that high, Dutch.
Yeah.
So if I could jump back to the threads on the bottom really quick, it's a little bit more than meets the eye. That's an M20 thread. So as we know, subwoofer manufacturers are putting those M20 threaded cups on subs just for more stability than a standard cup in socket type style pole. So we were an early adopter of this when we were making our subwoofer shafts, and we said, well, why should we limit it to, speaker poles? Why don't we do this on mic stands as well, and kind of start creating a little bit of a modular product line? So you can buy a subwoofer shaft and put it into that bass if you needed to, if you had like a little top spot.
That's
something
big.
like
That is considerably more substantial.
Yeah.
Yes, we're showing the stand on Facebook here now.
That's that's handy. That's kind of cool.
So that will screw into most subs too. They have that same thread.
Yeah, if for some reason you needed to put a a mic shaft and a subwoofer, you could do that.
Well, you know,
as well.
we have a lot of people that want to dance on our subs, so we could actually put a mic up there for them to sing with. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, that was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now we have a couple online questions Katie has
Okay,
for
yes.
us. Are you ready for those?
We do have quite a few. We've got the first one from Peter Radford. What can you recommend in terms of a good music stand? I like a stand that you can push up and down without turning a knob to turn tension on and off.
Yeah,
Right.
great question.
Okay.
So our answer to that kind of thing, spring-loaded, no knobs, nothing to adjust, is the SM for sheet music, 7711.
We're going to bring that up online here. An SM7711, okay?
Yep. And that's going to be just like, you think back to high school band, you had those sheet music stands you can kind of just grab and raise up and down. It's very similar to that.
Those were all Hamiltons, weren't they?
Hamilton, Manhattan.
Or Manhasset, that's right. Yeah.
We all
So that's-
have our version of it.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is ours. And again, we try to be really competitive. We're trying to make stuff for as little amount of money as possible. And a big part of why we can do that is how big our line is and how much buying power we have when we, manufacturing power. And we make a lot of stuff for other people too. I can't drop many names, but
Oh, come on. This is only on the World Wide Web.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: some of the largest, like pro audio manufacturers, keyboard manufacturers, if they have stands or attachments or benches, and we probably make it or have made it for them at some point in time. And that's something that really, on the manufacturing side, as far as pricing control, really sets us apart from some other people too. And everyone goes, how do you make this for so much less than somebody else? Like, how could you make such a higher quality stand or an equal quality stand for like 30-40% less? And that's the real answer.
Cool. So Katie has some more questions. Katie?
I do. Sorry to interrupt earlier. I don't know when my mic is on or not. Gary Wetzel said, do you make a music stand with built-in lights? I knock the stupid little clip-ons off too often.
That's no, we do not, but that's an interesting concept. And so I'm going to write that one down and take it back to the office tomorrow. I don't think I've seen a music stand with built-in lights. Pretty clever.
Friatacora wants to know if you guys have products that angles guitar amps rather than lifting the whole amp.
Yeah, great question. Yep, because and the core behind why people want to leave an amp on the ground is bass response, right? If you take it up off the ground, you lose that kind of boundary loaded effect. But there's of course benefits to getting it up off the ground because sometimes you don't want that, and most of the time it's because us old guys don't want to hurt our backs and bend over to adjust the knobs. So to answer that question, there's two models. There's one for a single cabinet type setup, like a single 10 or a single 12. That would be the RS 4000, or its big brother for your 210, your 212. I've even seen people put 410 cabinets on these. That would be the RS 6000, and it's a really nice fold flat design. I think the tubing's only an inch, so when it's completely folded down, it's only an inch tall, and then whatever the collapse length is on each of those.
I think we're getting a picture of it up right now. Did you get it? There we go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Super simple design. No knobs on this one either. You just kind of fold it back, and eventually it stops itself just from the cross bracing.
And do you make a bag for that?
We don't have we have a lot of different bags that it would probably fit in. I would just have to cross-reference. If someone wanted to do the research on their own, I would look at our keyboard stand bag, the KSB 6500. If you compared that,
that's kind of what I was. That's what I was thinking. That would because that's collapsible. It would be nice to just haul around in a bag. So, and you guys do really have nice bags too. The stand bags are really they're built well.
They have to be. They've got around big heavy steel, right? I mean,
they've got large zippers, and I've got some some of your stand bags that we have probably overloaded with a lot of product, and they really hold up. So I can testify to that.
Yeah, and that's something that another area we try to continually make improvements on. A lot of our cases where they were 5, 10, 15 years ago versus where they are today is just drastically different. And, we just keep finding, better zipper suppliers or, better material. And we just try to make improvements whenever we can, especially if it's something where we can improve it and not have to raise the price on something. That's always really attractive to us. We're always looking for ways to do that.
We've got just a couple minutes left, and we've got to give away these stands. So before we do that, do you have like the last 30 seconds here? How about if you just wrap it up and give tell what are your parting comments for our audience, and before we thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that we hope to get across is the variety of stands that we have to offer, and attachments and small accessories. We have over 700 products in our line these days.
Wow.
And to be honest, it's like overwhelming for most people, and myself included. Sometimes I wonder how I keep it straight in my head, but it's a lot of things. So if you've bought an onstage stand or an onstage product before and you're happy with it, next time you go to buy an accessory of any type, chances are that Onstage makes it. So go to our website, do a keyword search, see what you can find, and chances are we probably have. You just might not think of Onstage stands as someone who makes a guitar slide or a guitar tuner, for example. So that's something we always like to get across to folks, and we just try to keep adding to the selection to make musicians and pro audio professionals' lives easier. So we appreciate the support of everybody, and we owe a lot of our continued growth. I don't think we've had a year where we didn't grow for as long as I've been in the industry, before I was with the company.
Wow, no, it's an amazing line of products, and we've used them and supported them for years, and I know you've had a lot, you've got a lot of happy customers out there. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join us this month on Tech Talk Live, and we'd like to have you back sometime to talk more about this. We can do this again in a few months if that's good with you. So and I want to talk. We could talk some more about NAMM and what the young professional board of directors. That your position there intrigues me. So maybe we could talk about that sometime on Tech Talk. So anyway, Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us. And we're going to take about a 30-second break. We're going to come back and give away these on-stage products, and we'll be right back. So thank you very much. Stick around. Tech Talk Live continues just after this.